Der nächste Film kommt aus der Türkei und heißt Passed by Censor. Serhat Karaaslan wollte eigentlich einen Dokumentarfilm drehen über Briefe von und an Gefängnisinsassen. Da das nicht möglich war, ist daraus nun ein Spielfilm geworden, ein sehr poetischer. Ich habe den Filmemacher in Braunschweig auf dem Filmfest getroffen und ja, was soll ich sagen, es gibt so Begegnungen, die vergisst man nicht so leicht. Vor ein paar Monaten hatte ich schon mal ein Interview mit einem türkischen Schauspieler und merkte, das ist nicht so einfach. Man traut sich nicht jeder was zu sagen in der momentanen politischen Situation. Deswegen war für mich ganz wichtig, Serhat Karaaslan vorweg zu fragen, ob er überhaupt bereit ist, was er bereit ist zu sagen über seinen Film. Ja, und die Antwort darauf war erstaunlich offen, frappierend für mich. Ich dürfe ihn alles fragen, er stehe ohnehin auf der schwarzen Liste. Zitat: Ich kann ins Gefängnis kommen, ja, aber ich bin Filmemacher. Wenn ich nicht mehr sagen kann, was meine Meinung ist, brauche ich nicht zu arbeiten. Passed by Censor ist auf den ersten Blick nur eine kleine politische Fabel, aber sie hat für mich gerade nach dem Gespräch mit Serhat Karaaslan wesentlich mehr Tiefe bekommen. Insofern lade ich Sie sehr herzlich ein, nach der Filmbesprechung dran zu bleiben und zu hören, was der Filmemacher nicht nur über die Situation in der Türkei zu sagen hat, sondern auch über seinen Film. Auch wenn es etwas länger dauert. Passed by Censor erzählt eine poetische Geschichte, auch wenn das in dem Setting eines Istanbuler Gefängnisses denkbar unwahrscheinlich erscheint. Der literarisch interessierte Zakir, der auch Schreibkurse besucht, liest jeden Tag die ein- und ausgehende Korrespondenz der Insassen. Für eine Schreibübung entnimmt er einem Brief das Foto einer Ehefrau eines Häftlings und denkt sich dazu eine Geschichte aus. Durch sein Schreiben und die Beobachtung der Frau und ihres Mannes fantasiert er sich immer mehr in eine Geschichte hinein. Zakir erinnert dabei ein wenig an einen einsamen Poeten, an dem die Ungerechtigkeit der Welt vorbeiläuft, sie aber nicht wahrnimmt. Filmemacher Karaaslan erzählt über diesen Kunstgriff relativ direkt aus dem Auge des Sturms, ohne dabei vom Wind erfasst zu werden. Das hofft man zumindest für den etwas naiv agierenden Zakir.
Sen ne yapıyorsun lan burada? Ben ne yapıyorum ya? Ne iş çeviriyorsun sen? Ne iş çevireceğim ya? Kimin ne bok yediği an be an kameralar takip ediliyor.
Ab einem gewissen Punkt wird die Geschichte immer tragischer und verlässt ihre anfangs noch politischen Schauplätze. Und man fragt sich, warum eigentlich? Denn gerade am Anfang legt Karaaslan ziemlich drauf mit einer Szene, in der ein Ausbilder erklärt, wie man Briefe von Terroristen erkennen kann.
Yeni taktikleri bulmak gittikçe zorlaşıyor. Bu bir mektup, bir mahkum mektubu. Dikkatlice okuyacaksınız. Varsa sakıncalı yerleri üzerine karalayacaksınız.
Aber ab von dieser etwas skurrilen Wandlung des Films erzählt Passed by Censor eine spannende, eine rührende, ja fast eine Coming-of-Age-Geschichte eines Mannes, der noch bei seiner Mutter wohnt und nicht versteht oder verstehen will, dass eigentlich seine schriftstellerische Kurskollege diejenige welche wäre und nicht die mysteriöse Frau auf dem Foto.
Bunlar kesin bir iş çeviriyorlar Emel.
Bunda bir öykü olarak görme, öykünü burada bitir işte.
Wie schwierig es ist, heute anspruchsvolle Filme überhaupt noch in der Türkei zu drehen, verriet uns der Filmemacher selbst auf dem Filmfest in Braunschweig. So, I'm very happy to welcome here now Serhat Karaaslan from the film Passed by Censor. And we talked a bit in one of this interview because I was not so sure about how far can you go and what you're saying. Because the political situation in the Turkey is not so easy in the moment, and yeah, in the last few years I could imagine it was much more difficult to produce a film, especially when it includes some criticism against the system. What kind of restraints or obstructions did you have to face in doing this film?
Well, for this film, the first thing is what it was the context, because it was not only about the prison, it was about the recent situation in Turkey, actually. Because of that, it was not a bit easy to get permission for shooting. For example, for a long time, we tried to get permission for shooting in a prison. We didn't get any answer, and then we said, okay, we are going to build our prison in the studio, but can we see, like, for the reference, like with the art director, with the cinematographer, just for reference, they even didn't let us to see just for the reference. It was because of these kind of things, it was a bit difficult. And also, we shot the film during the emergency state, just after military coup in 2016. And normally we were going to shoot 2-3 months after military coup happened, and when it happened, we had to postpone 1 year. And we already did cast, and some actors in the cast, they moved to out of country, and we have to like just drop to 1 year and we restart from beginning. Yeah, there was this kind of difficulties, and also for finance. Yeah. For example, when we were looking for finance, we tried to pre-sell the television, and no one wants to be attached to this kind of projects. And like there was some big company, they are producing mostly mainstream film, but they are co-produced independent film. For example, we were talking about Annons. One of them was co-producer of Annons. We went to these people, they didn't want to even consider, because after military coup, people they were so scared to even talk about it. Yeah.
Is it for you easy to face this situation? I mean, do you fear anything?
Well, I mean, after military coup, we of course, if I say no, it's not true. For a while, yes. For example, like most of the people, deleted the tweets they posted in the past, and because many people they fell in jail because of something they posted on social media. And I think all of people in Turkey, the people they use social media. It was a fear because, for example, my producer, just after military coup, they canceled his passport. He was going to Locarno Film Festival, and he cannot go, and he was without passport more than a year. And there was this kind of things. I mean, like filmmakers, you travel a lot, and of course there is the most important things in the life. I mean, traveling is not one of the most important things, but even this was one like kind of the punishment. Yeah. They were the people they don't put in prison, they punish in this kind of way. Like, I mean, passport one of small example.
And I could imagine that you need also some help from out of Turkey, not from Turkey, to finance your film.
Yeah, I mean, without co-production, this film couldn't be made because. Because of the prison, for example, we built a prison. It already cost a lot for production. It was not a film you cannot find a way to make in cheap way. Like there's some projects when you don't have enough budget, you try to find a way make it smaller. But prison, because of the location, it was not possible. And yeah, we did co-production with Germany and with France.
Was it shot in Istanbul or where?
Yeah, in Istanbul, in studio. Yeah.
In studio?
Yeah, in studio. We built it all prison.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk a bit about the film. How did you come to the story?
Story, actually, it's I know someone. He's in prison still. He's a political prisoner. He's actually in prison since 1996. It's like lifetime. They said, I don't know. And since I was at university, as I was a student at university, I was correspondent with him, and I was always sending him letters, receiving letters. And one day I received a letter. The part of letter was blacked out. And then I went to prison. When I see him, I said, "Why you wrote something? Then you blacked out." I was curious. You did it very carefully. He said, "I didn't do it. There's a commission." And before I saw the stamp on the old letter, but I didn't know how it's going the process. I thought they opened the envelope, and if there is not something dangerous with the letter, they just send it. And I didn't know there's a commission, there's a rule, regs, and they read it very carefully. Even sometimes they send to the court, even sometimes they send to the one other commission. When I found out about this, it stayed with me, and I started to think about these people, they do this job. I found it very interesting, and I started to research. In the beginning, I didn't just say, oh, this is a brilliant idea, let's make film about it. Because it's text, it's about letters, it's a bit difficult to make like visual things about it. And after a while, it stayed with me. It's really, I found it interesting. Also, something I had kind of personal connection to this subject. And one day I came out with the idea to make a film about it.
Okay. You start very political in the beginning. The trainer who explains how you have to censor the relations, and then it's getting more and more kind of a fairy tale. And I was wondering a bit why you did so.
Well, actually, we got some critics about that. Like they say, like kind of critic, why you start the tone of the film like that, then it changed. For me, I mean, when I was always imagining this film, we start with the main character. It starts with his first days in prison. I mean, when you first time go to prison, everything, it's really, it's like wall come on you. You know, I don't know how to say in English. I don't know if it makes sense or not. Everything is too much, you know, the noise, the sound, the door, it's too much. When by the time when you get used to it, it looks normal, as they all see. Yeah. And that part, I mean, until the first sequence, until we see the title, it was like the first expression, how someone like will feel when they first time fell in prison, and if it's a place they don't want to be actually. This guy is not voluntarily working in the prison, and the reason was that. And I follow him, and he start with the lecture, and then his first few days. I mean, I have to show a bit the real fact in the prison. Then I follow him. For me, the rest of the film also still politic. I mean, the politic, it doesn't mean it has to be directly about the political prisoners. And we did it very, I think, subtle way. I mean, I wanted to tell the human story. I didn't want to go too much the direction of the political prisoner. It could be propaganda film. I mean, it was a bit risky. I was more interested to the human story, right? Yeah.
I liked very much the situation when he hears a sound of prisoners knocking at the doors, and then he just passes by, and the police or the policeman passing by him, and we hear noises and we see the torturer, or we hear something from the torture, and he's just passing by. It's not and that was very subtle. And then
actually, I mean, I don't know how if the audience they can feel that or not. I mean, it was also like the journey of someone started to work in prison, and step by step they become like the part of the prison. And in the beginning, everything is too much, like the scene you just said, like it's too much. I mean, another time when they just passed, we don't see that much. It's because he got used to it. It's a bit psychological side. I mean, for me also, in the beginning when I first time went to a prison, it was too much everything. I mean, the door, the sound, like the instruction of the guards they are giving, when they say just walk, stop, go. I mean, everything was too much, and it became like a bit repetition. But it was coming from this reason. I wanted to start the film like that, and then he became part of the prison like the other guards. I mean, it was his journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is there? What you say? I mean, I was asking, but you were saying you continue with the film a bit more subtle in their political message. But is there what you would say is what you want to tell with this? I call it fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale, but you're following this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there is several themes in the film, as you see, but the main theme is the people. They are not in physical prison, but they feel like they're in prison. And if in a country, if you try to control everything, there is no place for everyone, for anyone. Like even for the people who are controlling other people. Like in a country, if some people, like if people being monitored, if the phone been listening, and they follow in the social media what you post, and there is many people to do these all things. And I was more interested to this side. And if like the country is like that, there is no freedom for them also. It become a prison for them, all of them. And the physical prison is become meaningless actually. And each of the character, they are in their own prison. And like there is no physical prison, but there is psychological prison. There is like socio-economical prison. Like there is the prison for the woman because her husband, it's her husband in prison. and the family, they protect her. By protecting, they put her in prison.
Ja.
And for me, it was the main idea. It was that, like, the people, they can get out from the door of the prison. They can be out, but they feel they are like prisoner.
Okay, so the woman is also in a kind of a prison?
Yeah, they are. I mean, she's also in. I mean, it's not a real prison, like physical prison, but she's not free. She cannot live by herself. Like, for example, in Turkey, there's one thing. I mean, I did some research, and it doesn't matter which, like, they part of, like, which I don't want to say, the part of society. Even for the high class, even for middle class bourgeois, if a woman, her husband is in prison, they don't let her to live alone. They said, like, the family. I mean, the reason is protecting, and this is also kind of putting these people in prison. For this is very, for the woman, it's something very serious.
And is she pregnant or not?
This is what I play with. I mean,
we don't know.
I mean, I have the reason. I'm sure every audience has a reason, and also the reason for that. I mean, in the script it was more clear. I give the answer more clear, but the time we are passing, it gives me the feeling to leave the film with question like that, because it's also like. For me, it's like, for example, nowadays, it's also like the one thing in the film, one of the important things in the film is the censor, like the reality, like the things we see, it's real or just fake things just for covering reality. And also I want to play with this because like even in the free country also it can be like the media can, like they don't do the classical censor, they don't black the line, but they hide some news. They show too much some news. They control. They manipulate. This is also can be kind of maybe the censor of our time. Yeah. I mean, for me also, it's like the things we see, it's real or not. Because especially for a country like in Turkey, as we don't have media right now, and there is like many fake news, and they for example in the difficult times when for example when there is the economical problems too much, they just diffuse a lot of distribute a lot of fake news about some other things just for covering eyes, and the things we see, like it's physically you see in front of your eyes, but it can be fake just for covering the real fact. And because of these things, and in the end I wanted to leave the film like with question. I thought it's more interesting to give an answer, and if you give answer, the film finish and you get out and it's over. Maybe it's a catharsis or the contraire. And contraire is.
Oh oui, tu parles français.
Oui, je parle français un peu.
Ah, oh non. Moi aussi. Ok.
Ok, parfait. On peut continuer en français.
No, this week's too complicated.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, sometimes I don't remember the
just
word.
Just one of the diffuser.
Yeah, diffuser.
Distribution.
Yeah, distribution. Yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, for example, if you give the answer and the audience get out from cinema, it's film over there. But I believe if you leave with the question, they keep thinking about it, and they're questioning the situation, they're questioning the problem of our time. It's not. I think it's like, I mean, I believe that's why I made the film like that. It's not only about Turkey. It's like there's a lot of problem of modern times. It can be like.
Okay, I see. So you mean that it's a kind of also a metaphor about we don't know what we can believe or what we may not believe in time of fake news. Yes. Also.
Yeah, they called it post-truth. I mean, we are in the post-truth, right? Post-truth time. Post-truth.
Post-truth?
Post-truth. Yeah, there is a term they started to use it.
Okay, I will Google this later.
Yeah, it's new. Like it's time's up.
No, she's saying you got the name. One last question. The only short answer. The friend who is explaining in the canteen that he is a friend. Is he a snitch? Shall he be a snitch or not?
Actually, that was also one thing about the film. Like in the first bar when they are drinking beer, they said
there's a spy just behind us.
After, for example, for that also we don't know. It was a joke. Like he started, they make a joke, or it was a real. It was also about like because I want to play with reality, like that's why that's also was when I don't want to say I made this also like that. For example, that also his friend, but we always
so it's we don't know and
yeah,
we shouldn't
we all
know. Okay.
doubt about it because it's about